Alright guys, this video is gonna be a little bit more serious, um, and, okay, so this video is, first of all, you have to know, is gonna be very unscientific. I don't have any data or studies to talk about, but I still think my opinion and my experiences are valid, and, I just want to share with you, my experiences. This one's a little bit more serious, but it is a very important topic, and I needed to talk about it. Um, my experiences with the mental health industry, as I'll call it, which is essentially just big pharma, the therapy industry, psychology industry, whatever you want to call it. I have had OCD since I was a child. I always showed signs of it. I never really knew that I had it until later. Um, but essentially, like I always kind of had signs of it, but I never really realized it was OCD. Um, I would, get doubts about things and then do compulsions, and ask for reassurance, that kind of stuff. In middle school, my OCD got really bad. Um, I always thought, like, so what happened is basically, at first, I got OCD about, video games, like Fortnite and stuff. Um, it's kind of weird and, like, random, but in Fortnite, I would, like, be constantly obsessed with the sensitivity, and I would constantly try to get, like, the sensitivity that was just right. That's my OCD subtype, by the way. It's the just right OCD subtype. So, essentially what that means is that I would I in my life, when it comes to anything, will never be satisfied with like one thing. I always have to fiddle around with stuff until I feel that it's just right, essentially. And so basically it started with Fortnite, and I spent an entire summer, morning to night, playing Fortnite, not even because I enjoyed it, but just because I wanted to get the perfect sensitivity, and I would literally just play it and adjust, then play it, then adjust, and play it, then adjust, because in my mind, I thought that if I was bad at Fortnite, I wouldn't be able to make friends, because I thought that video games were like taking over, and they kind of were at the time. Things kind of made a 180 recently, which is good. Like, things were going way towards the, like, video games are cool, like, social media, you know, electronics are cool, and things made a 180 because of self-improvement and, like, the red pill, which is good. But anyways, yeah, I was convinced that video games were becoming such a big thing. I needed to be good at them in order to make friends, and so I just spent my entire summer literally OCD about it. Then in the school year, when the school year started, I thought I got social anxiety because, like, one day I kind of just had like an intrusive thought about like social situations, and like eventually socializing kind of became like very difficult for me, because I kept getting like these intrusive, like, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's like I was trying to, like, I was scared. I was scared of like the pauses and blankness in conversations, like the awkward silences, and my OCD kind of latched onto that. And I would try a million different methods to like figure that out, and I always thought it was like social anxiety, but it wasn't. It was OCD the whole time. And so I'm looking for answers, right? And then I look for what I think is the default response, right? Okay, therapy, psychiatry, that's the default response. It's a default response because it's a big industry. I'll tell you that it's not actually helpful. Um, a lot more people have tried therapy than you think, and there's still depression and anxiety out there because therapy doesn't work. Look, I'm not gonna, okay, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that as a blanket statement, no one, therapy will not work for anyone, and that psychiatry doesn't work for anyone. Because at the end of the day, no YouTuber can tell you exactly what you should do. No YouTuber, not Hamza, not, Andrew Tate, not Justin Waller, no one can tell you exactly what to do with your life in any regard. So I'm not going to tell you here that you should never consider therapy, you should never consider psychiatry, that, just won't work for you, whatever. Because I don't know. I don't know you. But I'll tell you my experiences. In my opinion, for me, therapy was complete bullshit. I spent years, like 2 to 3 years in therapy. The thing that I hate about therapy is that in the media, it's kind of portrayed as if it's like these therapists are just like all-knowing people and stuff like that. Like they just know exactly what to do and what to say and what's wrong with you. Like with The Sopranos. The Sopranos really fucked me up. What happens in The Sopranos? If anyone ever watched it, then you'll know. He goes in, and as soon as he goes in, the therapist is like, "Oh, you're afraid of losing your family," and all that shit. And the therapist just knows exactly what's up. Guys, believe me when I tell you, that degree that they have means nothing. Means absolutely nothing. They are just regular people. I get the same insights talking to a therapist that I get the same insights talking to anyone else. I'm getting a little angry and a little heated up because I am passionate about this, because the mental health industry screwed me up so much and it set me back so much, so I do have to get a little emotional about it. A therapist, that degree that the therapist has means nothing. Okay, it's the most bullshit degree of all time. You could literally just be a normal person and be a qualified therapist at the same time. Like, if you literally forged your degree, no one would be able to tell the difference. The therapist is not all-knowing, this, like, crazy, wizard or whatever. They're just people. You're just talking. They don't do anything helpful at all. Like, they just kind of tell you basic stuff, like, oh, eat healthy, do this, do that. They don't give you any, like, strategies or, like, whatever. Or the ones they do are kind of bullshit. It's just talking. Like, that's the best summary I can give you. It's just talking. You ever try talking to someone about your issues? That's what therapy is. But it's like $8 million an hour, so it's not worth it. I'm most upset that I set my parents back so much money because of therapy that didn't do anything to me. So I'm in there and I'm talking about my issues. The therapist is of no help, and I stayed there for so long because I was so convinced that's what you do when you have a mental health issue. So yeah, and then I'm just getting absolutely nowhere, and I'm gonna make a video in the future that will be called no one in capital, like no one knows what's wrong with you except for yourself. Do not go to therapy, in my opinion. Obviously, I disclaimed at the beginning, this is not a blanket statement. There's obvious exceptions. I don't know you. You might benefit from it. I don't really know. And maybe find like an actually qualified therapist. But the best actual like way of doing therapy is introspection, journaling. Replace therapy with introspection. It will help you 9 billion times more than an actual therapist. Because no one actually knows what's wrong with you except for yourself. You just need to dig deep down in there. No one. Not Andrew Tate, not a therapist, not Hamza. No one knows what is wrong with you except for yourself. You need to introspect. That's the only solution. So yeah. In general, your issues are probably not as big as they seem. You just need to introspect. You need to realize what you need to do. And you need to experiment. And you need to... And you'll figure it out. I promise you, it's a lot better than therapy. But anyways, where I was really screwed over was psychiatry. Guys, psychiatry is fucking, honestly, like, disgusting. It's a disgusting industry. The fact that they're giving these pills to kids that are actually screwing up their nervous systems and fucking them over is actually disgusting to me. Guys, I had OCD. I was, obsessed about my situation. Oh, how do I cure it? How do I do this? What do I do? And what do I do? I think, okay, therapy's not working. What about medications? Maybe there's something wrong with my brain. Something wrong with your brain, okay? Let me tell you that. I get prescribed the SSRIs, the Prozac. Funny enough, The Sopranos screwed me over with that one too. What happens in The Sopranos? He takes Prozac, and it's such a fucking lie, dude. The media portrays... The media is... This is probably the biggest propaganda in the media right now, is the mental health industry. It's probably the biggest, most corrupt, industry right now. Capitalizing on, young teens' mental health issues. In The Sopranos, he takes the Prozac or whatever, and it's just a net positive. His anxiety is, reduced, and he's just, he's doing all right. And that's what I thought. I thought, okay, I just take this, and my anxiety goes away. And that's what it works. It's not how it works. That's not how it works. First of all, any anxiety relieving stuff you get from Prozac is it's like a carpet bomb. It's not a targeted, it goes in there and targets the anxiety and then pops that one balloon. It's a carpet bomb. It targets all your emotions. You'll feel nothing. Everything will be dampened, basically. Your anger, your happiness, your sadness, your everything. Your zest for life, it all gets dampened. It doesn't work it just targets that one thing and it makes you happier, basically. No. The truth is, they don't even know what the fuck's in the pills and what the fuck the pills do. Okay? The truth is that these pills have only been around 20 years or something, and it fucks with your nervous system. There's a condition called PSSD, post-SSRI sexual dysfunction. And what happens is that after you stop taking the Prozac, or it can happen when you're taking it too for some people, you will basically lose. So the way that it works is, like I said, it's kind of like a zombifier pill. It dampens all emotions and all desires, basically. And that carries on into sexual desire too. But essentially what happens is that the common side effects of these meds is low sex drive, low emotions, low happiness, and low, just low drive. You just become a zombie. It's the best way I can describe it is SSRIs are zombifier pills. They're not anti-anxiety medications. They make you more like a zombie. And I guess that's supposedly that's supposed to be good for people because if you have an overactive mind, then you calm it down. But trust me, it's not. Trust me, you don't want to become a zombie. Okay, that's the easy way out, right? That's the easy way out is to just become a zombie and kill your anxiety instead of just doing self-improvement, doing introspection, figuring out what you need to do. That's the hard way out, but it's better in the long run. Okay, the truth is that after I stopped taking my Prozac, I experienced, and this is a little graphic, I guess, but, it's not really graphic, but it's a little NSFW, I guess, but I experienced erectile dysfunction. I experienced lower sex drive, lower, zest for life, lower drive to do things, lower satisfaction in them, lower desire, basically, lower desire, lower empathy, lower everything. I was one of the lucky ones. I didn't get it completely snuffed out. What I want you to do is look up r/PSSD. It's got thousands of people on there who, and the subreddit might seem small, but I think there's probably more people with it. They just don't realize they have it. because these drugs are so big and the industry is so big that they don't even like, this isn't even like something that's known, PSSD. But here's what I want you to do. Go on there and look at their stories, look at the people on there. Most of them are fucked. They have no sexual function, they have no desire, they have no... I was the lucky one. I was still devastated by how much stuff I lost. I would say everything was cut like 25% for me. I was still devastated by that. You might think that's not that much, but that stuff makes you human. To be cut off by 25% is losing 25% of your humanity. You become 25% more of a zombie. And you don't want that, man. Most of these people are 100% fucked. Like, a lot of them are just, like, they have nothing. They have no desires. They're fucked. And these meds did that. And then they'll say all these bullshit things like, oh, it's all in your head and all this shit. That's all, like, industry lies. Okay? These meds are fucking poisonous. I guarantee you, they just figured out, like, I guess this can, like, make it seem like your anxiety is reduced. Let's go sell it. Like, they were just rushing to figure out something they could sell. And then they didn't even realize, like, the issues they can cause. Because I don't think, like, no one's, like, deliberately... I mean, there are many theories, honestly, and some of them are interesting. Like, there are some theories about, like, oh, maybe they're trying to not euthanize, they're trying to, sterilize, mentally ill people. The establishment is. And there's all these, like, theories about, like, deliberate, causes for pushing these meds out, which, like, the deliberate cause is to, like deliberately give people sexual dysfunction, and, like, and not just sexual dysfunction. It's called PSSD, but it should just be called post-SSRI syndrome or something, because it's a myriad of different symptoms. I don't even care that much about the sexual stuff, like, I mean, I guess because I it's only 25%, it's not as bad for me, but the emotions and the empathy is a fucking killer. But yeah, okay. So the PSSD, I personally think that the industry or whatever was just, like, they found a way to make a profit off of mental illness, and they just pushed it out as soon as possible. I don't think they deliberately were trying to give people PSSD, but they definitely weren't trying to cure mental illnesses either. They said, okay, we have something, let's push it out. They didn't think about, like, what it actually could cause in people, It's kind of funny because the red pill a lot of it is, like, anti-therapy, anti-psychiatry, but it's like anti that stuff in, like, the sense of, like, oh, strong people don't need it kind of thing, whereas the blue pill is, like, for that stuff, because the blue pillers are more like take mental illness seriously and all that stuff like that. But in a roundabout way, like, the red pill ends up being... I mean, the red pill is usually right, but, like, you know what I mean. The red pill is usually right in general, but this time they were right in, like, a roundabout way. In the sense that, like... I mean, no, some of the points they make are true, but they don't explain it. They don't, like... Like, they always say, like, oh, therapy and psychiatry is, like, the easy way out, which it is. That's something I totally agree with. It's instant gratification. You talk to someone... you talk to your therapist, and then you feel kind of good afterwards, and then your bank account, just falls down and down. That's your instant gratification, it feels good in the moment, your life becomes worse. And then psychiatry is the same thing. The meds, they feel good in the moment, then your life becomes worse when you become a zombie. So it's instant gratification. They don't explain it that way, but the red pill was right about stuff again. That's why I believe in the red pill, honestly, because they're usually right about most things. Like, in my life, when I try the red pill tactics, like, it's usually right in most cases. Anyways, since then, I have just been trying to live with those reductions and, see if they come back. If they don't, you just have to accept it. I'm very grateful I wasn't 100% fucked. So I'm not, like, that distraught about it anymore. I was really fucked up for a while. I was thinking, oh, fuck. Like, I really was, like... I mean, I was a teenager, man. Like, they're pushing... chances are, man, you don't need this stuff. You don't need this stuff. I'll tell you that. Even if you have issues, and even though I said that, it might work for you because I don't know you, I still think your shit isn't that bad. Okay? Like, people always bring up these examples of, like, oh, the schizophrenic dude who was, he's gonna, I don't know, he's gonna harm himself for someone else, you know, and then he needed it. Okay, cool. He needed it. You're probably not that guy. You're probably a little depressed, you're a little anxious, whatever. That stuff can be solved with introspection, okay? Or you have OCD like I did, which was also solved by introspection, which I'm going to get into. So since then, just been living with my circumstances, and I started introspecting, and I realized what my thought patterns were and like how I was being OCD. And and by the way, I'm not like self-diagnosed OCD. Like, I am diagnosed OCD, but the therapist still didn't do anything. I kind of made it sound like, the way I worded it in this video is like, oh, the therapist didn't do anything, but hey, they didn't know I had OCD. Maybe if they, no, even when they knew, they still didn't do jack shit. The therapist doesn't do anything. So yeah, I am diagnosed OCD. And I had to introspect myself and figure out what my patterns were and realize how I can solve them. Like, for instance, being scared of being blank and like that silences in a conversation. It's basically like therapy for that, for me, which again, I had to figure this shit out myself. I had to introspect and figure this shit out. No one told me this. Only me. Was just to, just welcome it when it comes, basically. Like, just be okay with it and learn to accept it. Because at the end of the day in life, you have to do what you fear most. Resistance points to true north. You need to, short of dying, you need to do what you fear most. And that's how you grow in life. That's the only way. Chances are, like, basic self-improvement, the red pill, whatever they tell you, it'll probably work for you. You don't need this therapy. You don't need psychiatry. It's a scam. It's not expensive because it's, really good. Like, the actual quality does not match the price at all. So I'll tell you that. No one, if you can take away anything from this, take away this. Nobody, not the therapist, not Jesus, I don't know, actually, I don't know about Jesus, but I don't, I'll take that back. Maybe not Jesus, I don't know. Maybe that's, I don't really know. Okay, nobody mortal, not the therapist, not Hamza, not Gerbert Johnson, not Wheat Waffles, not Noah Samson, I'm thinking about the blue pillars now. No one, the blue pillars definitely don't know what's wrong with you, but nobody knows what's wrong with you. No one. Only you can figure that out. Only you. Just because you have to pay them for them to tell you what's wrong with you, doesn't mean they actually know. There's a thing called conning, right? There's a thing called scamming. That's what therapy is. So just because you have to pay for it, for them to tell you what's wrong with you, doesn't mean that they're not just some guy with an opinion. They're just some guy with an opinion. They're not magic. They're not. It's fucking media is the worst, man. I hate that shit. I hate that in every book, in every TV show, in every movie, the therapist is this all-knowing motherfucker who knows exactly what's wrong with you and is basically like Jesus for your mental illness. It's not. It's so far. You have no idea how many people have tried therapy. So many people have tried it. The only reason you ever hear from other people about, like, oh, therapy works is because the people who tried it and then it didn't work, they don't talk about therapy. They don't bring it up. The only people who bring up therapy are the ones who went there and worked, but that's like 1 in 50. Okay, like, so many. If you actually ask people who don't talk about therapy, have you ever been in therapy? A lot of them, believe it or not, a lot of them will actually say yes. A lot of people that I never realized had tried it have been in it, and it didn't work. Think about these. Mental illness is increasing, and therapy has always been around, so why is mental illness increasing? It's self-improvement that has been on the decline. That's what's causing the mental illness. That's what's causing it, man. The self-improvement, that's the stuff that correlates to the mental illness rising. Is the lower the self-improvement is, the higher mental. I mean, I don't have any fact. I said in the beginning I don't have any facts, so I don't have a graph that actually shows that, but I bet that the rise of self-improvement, the rise of the red pill has helped to correct some of the mental illness stuff. Some of it. It's still a minor thing. It's still like I think they call it like a fringe group or something like that, but it's still like, something that only a few people actually partake in and subscribe to, which is good in the short term. It's like instant versus delayed gratification. Like, in the short term, that's cool. There's less competition for you, and that is true. You will realize that even doing basic self-improvement already puts you so far ahead of the competition. It's crazy. And from that, you'll be like, I'm glad no one else is on this. But then you'll start realizing, like, how bad it is for society, how bad it is for other people, and how many people are fucking themselves over going to therapy and taking medications. No one knows what's wrong with you. You have to do that yourself. You need to do your own self-improvement. And you need to try things, for sure. But try the things maybe with lower risk. I mean, you probably didn't know. You didn't know the risk of medications because they keep that shit under wraps. But I'm telling you right now, there is a huge risk with medications. I can't speak to all other medications, but I know, like, antipsychotics can cause brain damage or something like that. They cause your brain to shrink or something. That's what I heard. So yeah, but just don't take shit at all. Like, needing a drug to be happy is a fucking drug addiction. Don't take shit, man. I think, in my opinion, introspection beats out all therapy and all psychiatry. And it's free. So remember, price doesn't always correlate to quality. Because I personally think being introspective and digging deep into yourself, staring at the fucking wall, like Hamza will say, is already miles ahead of therapy and psychiatry. If you're a parent watching this, don't let your kids take meds. Like, their issues probably aren't that bad. I promise you, it's not that, like, they can just do self-improvement and they'll already fix, like, most of their issues. Probably. Then there's other, like, niche stuff, right? Like, so the thing is, right, a lot of people probably weren't genetically disposed to have mental illness issues. It's just that our society is so fucked that a lot of people have mental illness issues. But see, for me, like, I was genetically disposed to have OCD. That's something that runs in my family. So, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. But I think for a lot of people are just normal people, but they're indulging in the modern day stuff. Like, they're staying inside, and they're fucking, I can't fucking breathe in this towel, man. Jesus Christ. Oh, but okay. So the problem with them is they're staying inside. They're on their phones all day, playing video games. They're not self-improving. I think self-improvement will work for them. And then on top of that, you need to do your own introspection to figure out if you have something like niche. Like, if like, for instance, if you have, like, OCD or whatever, and you need to, like, figure that stuff out. You don't need to get, like, a professional diagnosis, because all it is trial and error. Like, if you have OCD and you tried doing the OCD stuff, it'll work. If you don't have it and you try it, then nothing happens. So, you know what I mean? It's not like a risk. It's not, like, bad to, like, self-diagnose, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's a meme when it's like people will diagnose themselves with, like, stuff to make themselves be cooler. Like, these, like, dyed hair girls on, like, Reddit or whatever will be like, oh, I'm a fucking psycho, I'm a narcissistic personality disorder or something, and, like, try to, like, act cool or something. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing. But it's okay to, like, try different things. In my opinion, like, you are your therapist. In my opinion. So, what you need to do is that for the vast majority of people, in my opinion, for the vast majority of people, self-improvement will fix your mental illness issues. And then on top of that, if nothing happens, if you're still having some issues, then that's where your own introspection will come in. Like maybe you have something niche, like maybe you have OCD, maybe you have schizophrenia, maybe you have, I don't know, something niche, you know what I mean? Like self-improvement is generally catered towards the basic stuff. Depression, mild to moderate depression, and mild to moderate anxiety. That's what self-improvement is catered towards generally. And then, trauma also can be solved with trauma will be solved with introspection, I think. So, and meditation as well will help with that. So, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so if you have something niche, then that's going to require introspection. But yeah, so the general theme, the general message I'm trying to convey is that for most of you, I think, like 99% of you, your mental illness issues can be solved by yourself. It just takes, think about this, right? Humans, how has your bloodline been able to exist for this long if they have these crippling mental illness issues that you have? They shouldn't have been able to reproduce, but they did because they were able to figure it out. And they didn't use therapists. They didn't have therapy back then. So just believe me, you can figure it out yourself. You don't need this bullshit, scammy, con artist industry. Okay? So I'm just going to reiterate one more time because I kind of keep going off on tangents. I think most people, no matter how bad they think their mental illness issues are, can solve it via self-improvement and introspection. I think that'll take care of most people. Even if you have something niche, even if you have OCD, or you have something like a schizophrenia or anything like that, I think for a lot of people, it can just be solved. Okay, I'll take back schizophrenia. I really don't know about schizophrenia, but even if you have something like OCD, okay, let me restate. I keep going off on a million tangents. Anything that can be solved with therapy, like OCD, for instance, you don't need to take meds for OCD. You can just go to therapy. Schizophrenia, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's therapy for it or if you're just supposed to take meds. I don't know. But anything that can be solved with just therapy alone, generally, in the general, mental health industry, they will say that, you can solve it with introspection. You can solve it yourself. I guarantee you that. You can solve it generally with your own introspection and with self-improvement. So, self-improvement plus introspection will take care of anything that you could potentially get therapy for. I don't know about schizophrenia. I don't know if there is therapy for that. If there is, then you can probably solve it also with just introspection. But, I mean, I don't know about schizophrenia. I don't know about, other stuff. But, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Are there people with those diseases who solved it without taking meds? If the answer is yes, then you can probably do it too. With introspection. So that's my final message. All right. I'm gonna reiterate. I'm not saying you should not consider these things because I don't know the situation of everyone, but weigh in the risks, please, especially of medications. Weigh in the risks, and try to just figure it out yourself first. Because I still think it's there's no way your bloodline would be able to survive this long if they had these horrible issues that they never were able to solve. So if that's the case, you should probably it's within you to be able to solve it yourself, and you don't need therapy. So just try and figure it out.